KPEL News Time is 7:14. This is Acadiana's Morning News. Bernadette Lee and Brandon Como here with you, and joining us in the studio is Batman, Trooper Brooks David.
Hello, Batman. Are you Bruce Wayne today or Batman?
I'm Bruce.
You're Bruce today?
Yeah.
All right, so, I'm sorry, it's a fact. You put your own child's mask on, and that was a riot. I just want you to know. And now, that's the sign of a good dad. Mm-hmm. He hangs out with his kid. Yeah. You put the mask on.
I didn't even eat his candy.
I asked you about that earlier. I'm so impressed with you. Now, if I had children, this is just one of the multitude of reasons why I do not have children.
I think if I'd eat his candy, though, I'd have to sleep with one eye open.
Well, we have some candy for you in the break room if you want to stop on by on your way out.
Yeah, you can load up.
That way you can do that, and you don't have to sleep with one eye open.
Yeah, maybe some Tootsie Rolls. There was a Milky Way last time I looked.
What about Bluebell in the freezer?
That's true. That? I think there is.
Oh,
if there is, you're
definitely
right more
there.
than welcome to get some.
That's pretty impressive, I gotta tell you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have lots of topics to discuss with you today, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You start?
Okay, I'll go ahead and start.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want to make sure phone lines are open, 232-1542, 232-1542. All right, so first topic for you, Brooks, is traffic collisions. What should our listeners do if they get in a traffic collision?
Louisiana law states that if you're able to move that vehicle off of the roadway, to move it as soon as possible, because we don't want to cause any secondary collisions out there on the highway. Obviously, if you're injured and you can't move it, if somebody else can move it for you and have you, because what's going to happen when the trooper gets out there, if it's able to be moved, he'll either move it himself if it's drivable, or try to push it off the roadway with his push bumpers. Whether it's on a regular roadway or the interstate system or a Chafalaya. Now, obviously, sometimes these vehicles can't be moved because they're so damaged. But as soon as we can, we will move that vehicle off the roadway.
So if you don't feel well or something, you can stay in your vehicle. Or if you know you're injured, you can stay in your vehicle. Or
if you're injured and you can't move, you obviously want to stay in your vehicle. The safest place is to be outside of that vehicle, off of the roadway completely.
Okay.
In case somebody's not paying attention, which has been happening lately, and hit your vehicle and you're either injured, worse, or unfortunately some people get killed.
Yeah.
So you want to get out of that vehicle, but however, if it's nighttime, you want to try to put some hazard lights on. You want to try to do something to warn oncoming traffic that vehicle's in the roadway. Yeah,
that's what I was going to ask you, if your vehicle is disabled by something. All of us, I think, you pull over to the side of the road and think, I got to fix this flat tire. But maybe you're just not so skilled at doing that. If I'm riding in a car with my husband, okay, he's going to hop out and fix the flat tire. But if it's me by myself, I'd be scared to death. Is it safer for me to just wait in there and call state police? Or what would you recommend for somebody who's not really sure they have the strength to get the job done?
Well, you have to understand that us changing a tire.
Right. Pretty low priority.
Well, it's not that it's low priority. It's just, you're given a driver's license. Mm-hmm. You're operating a motor vehicle.
Yeah.
You should be able to change that tire and get out of the roadway or off of the shoulder as soon as possible. A trooper or a police officer or deputy is not always available to get to you. So you can call, and if we're busy, the desk sergeant would be more than happy to call a tow truck for you or some type of tire service if you have it. And I'm not going to say it's not our job to go out there and change our tire. It's a courtesy that we do, that we help people out. So if we can, we will do that for you. However, it's amazing how many men are on the side of the road that call state police to go change a tire for them.
Wow.
And it's not to put the lights on, it's to actually change the tire. I don't know if it's because it's laziness or people just don't know how to do it, or they expect that we're going to do it for them. So, especially the parents, and I know some parents that are troopers and police officers, when their children get their license or before they get their license, they make sure that those kids know how to change a flat tire.
That's what my dad did. He made me do it.
Well, especially if you're a female. I mean, if you're broken down somewhere where nobody can get to you, you surely want to get out that area as soon as possible. I mean, you do want to call 911 and let somebody know that you're there, or a family member, and they can be on their way to meet you. But the quicker you can get out that area, the better.
So should you put stuff in your trunk? I don't think people think about that until something happens.
You know, you'd be amazed how many times we get called out on the interstate, and you have people from California or Washington State going to Florida or somewhere on the East Coast and don't even have a spare tire or a jack.
Yeah.
You know, before you get on the roadway, make sure that your tires are good. Make sure that you have a spare tire. And, you know, you can put things in your trunk, some type of placards, you know, triangles that are reflectors, something to that nature, flares even, to let people know not only by your hazard lights, but by these illuminating devices that they need to watch out because there's something going on the shoulder of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, one thing my dad hammered into me, and of course my dad's a driving instructor, is always check your tires before you leave. It's just a quick, simple walk around your car. You know,
do you do that?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay.
And I'll be honest.
I'll be honest and say I don't.
Well,
I don't. You know.
And for me, I'll be honest. It didn't really take hold of me except, you know, maybe a couple of years ago. I mean, you know, it's been a while since I've had driver's ed.
Right.
But really, you know, seeing a couple times of people breaking down on the roadways, I'm thinking, you know what? It's probably a good idea I start checking my tires.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side before I take off.
You know, a lot of people, you know, we've been seeing on Facebook the fatalities that they've had in Acadia Parish, and you know, when it rains, for some reason, people on a straight roadway is going to go off the roadway. And if you look at it, 90% of the time is because they're driving too fast for road conditions because it's raining. And
if it's raining, they drive faster and they take more chances. I'm telling you.
And the tire tread, when you look at it, it's almost bald. So they hydroplane off of the roadway. And people ask why state police doesn't patrol that. We patrol it everywhere. People need to understand, though, that we can't take people by the hand and walk them down the interstate system. You're a grown adult. You know how to drive. You have to slow down in the rain. You have to check your tires and so on. I mean, we have other things that are going on in the parishes. We have 8 parishes. We don't have enough troopers to put everywhere at every time because we're working other crashes.
Yeah.
You know, you would think in a straightaway on Interstate 10 that the crashes wouldn't occur, but a lot of them do.
Well, and that's what's always, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I've fallen under that same thing, too, to think that on the straightaways, I'm thinking, how do you have more crashes in those areas as opposed to other areas that involve more traffic lights and stop signs? But as you just said, amazingly, you do.
Yeah. I mean, when it starts raining in the Troop I area, you can get ready in that area. They're going to have a lot of single vehicle crashes, sometimes 2 or 3 vehicle crashes. Unfortunately, some people get killed. But that's the reason why. They're driving too fast for the road conditions, and they're not paying attention. The distractions that are going on inside and outside of that vehicle is too much, especially for the speeds.
That's what I want to ask you about, the distractions on the inside, the, you know, social media, texting. From the time that the law went into effect, as, you know, saying that you can't, you can't be on your phone texting, you can't do social media, to now, has it increased? Has it, I mean, just, you know, maybe thinking of just some raw numbers in your head, do y'all find yourselves going to more traffic crashes that have that involved in it, the social media and the texting, or is it starting to decline down?
Well, unfortunately, we'll probably never have a good figure because somebody's not going to say that they were texting. Every once in a while, you'll get that person that says, "Trooper, I wasn't paying attention, I was texting or doing something on my phone." If it's a bad crash or a fatality crash, and we have reason to believe that this person was texting or something, we'll try to get a warrant for that phone, a search warrant, and see if we can get some information. But it still goes with distractions inside the vehicle. Whether you're texting, playing with the radio, really the bad thing is now is the passengers inside the vehicle, especially with under 21 age drivers. You got to understand that every passenger that you add in that vehicle ups your chance of getting in a serious injury crash 30%.
Yeah.
So what's going on in that vehicle? You have the radio playing, people showing pictures on the cell phone, people singing inside the vehicle, dancing inside the vehicle, and people
You saw me?
I was with you. But the thing is they're not paying attention to the roadway and what's going on ahead of them. They're paying attention maybe to what's going on right in front of them, but they need to pay attention at least 20 seconds down the roadway so they have time to slow down, and you can see the brake lights of the vehicles ahead of you way before you'll see the ones right in front of you. So you know to slow down before this person even starts to slow down.
talking about traffic collisions with Louisiana State Police Trooper Brooks David. And one thing I want to go back to is, stressing to call 911 when you get into an accident. I'll, talk about myself here. About 13 years ago, when I first started driving, made the mistake of I got hit from behind coming off of the interstate, and because the accident wasn't serious, the crash wasn't serious. I'm actually very mindful of that, by the way, to make sure not to say accident, to say crash.
Speaking of crash, is that moonwalking in?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's a crash.
When I was hit from behind, did not call police because trusted the person behind me that said, hey, here's my information. And sure enough, I got burned on it. Now, I didn't get burned too bad. It wasn't a super hard lesson to learn. But I just wanted to speak to people that think that, hey, just because it's a crash that's not that serious, you still should call 911.
You always want to make sure if there's a motor vehicle crash and there's damage, you want to call and get a report. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm not a mechanic, so I'm not able to go out to that crash and tell you, or you don't have $500 worth of damage, so we don't need to do a crash report. Yes. There might be some, even a bumper nowadays costs
ridiculous,
$2,000,
yeah,
or any undercarriage damage.
Yeah.
You always, this is me personally, to me, you would always want to file a report. I mean, get a report, even if you don't file it with your insurance company, because you never know. Injuries might show up a day later. It's been known where backs start to hurt later, and not because you're not at that point because your adrenaline's pumping or whatever. And if you don't have that crash report to back it up, insurance companies aren't going to pay. So you need a call at that time. Sometimes we get calls a day or two later saying that this person was involved in a crash. He needs a report. He called his insurance company. Well, it's too late because we can't prove to that insurance company now what happened. I know you're late for work or whatever it might be, but you need to stay there till the police get there and file an official report.
Got to do it.
All right. Spending some time with Louisiana State. They hung up. Louisiana State Police Trooper Brooks David has been our guest this morning talking about vehicle crashes and, calling police and making sure you get that traffic report. Brooks, thank you so much for stopping by.
Anytime.
KPL News Time is 7:27.
Batman.